Today, we are talking about a phenomenon that is sweeping the globe, saving people hundreds of dollars, and simultaneously giving millions of buyers anxiety attacks. I am talking about the second-hand iPhone market. Now, if you have tried to buy a smartphone in the last couple of years, you already know the painful truth. Brand new flagship smartphones now cost as much as a decent used laptop or a small vacation. Because of those terrifying price tags, the used and refurbished iPhone market is absolutely exploding. Year after year, it grows by double digits. In fact, Apple completely dominates the secondary phone universe, controlling nearly half of the entire global refurbished smartphone market. People love iPhones because they last forever. They receive software updates for 6 or 7 years, and they hold their value like gold bars in a vault. So, where on earth are all these millions of used iPhones actually coming from? It turns out there is a massive, multi-billion-dollar global supply chain feeding this frenzy. First, you have telecom carrier trade-ins. Every time a major phone company offers you a deal to trade in your old phone for a shiny new model, that old phone does not go to a retirement home. Millions of them are packaged up and funneled straight into the resale market. Second, you have corporate leasing returns. Huge corporations, banks, and government agencies do not buy iPhones for thousands of employees. They lease them. Every 2 or 3 years, these companies refresh their tech. Entire fleets of well-maintained, identical iPhones are wiped and dumped into the wholesale secondary market all at once. Third, you have the 14-day buyer's remorse returns. Someone buys a brand new iPhone, opens the box, uses it for 3 days, decides they do not like the color, and returns it. Legally, Apple cannot sell that as new anymore, so it instantly becomes top-shelf refurbished stock. And finally, you have third-party buyback platforms and insurance companies who collect broken, damaged, or traded-in phones, repair them in massive factories, and push them back into the supply chain. Because these devices are coming from dozens of completely different sources, from pristine corporate desks to the back pockets of teenagers at water parks, the condition of these phones is wildly unpredictable. When millions of raw, used devices collide in the secondary market, you do not just get used phones, you get a terrifying box of chocolates filled with unexpected hardware nightmares. You might end up with a Frankenstein phone. This is a device that looks flawless on the outside, but underneath the glass, someone replaced the genuine Apple screen with a cheap, washed-out display. Or maybe they swapped the original battery with a subpar third-party knockoff. You might get a phone that suffered liquid damage 6 months ago, and while it turns on today, internal corrosion is slowly eating away at the motherboard like a ticking time bomb. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, Sal, I am a tech-savvy person. I know how to check a phone. I will not get tricked. I am going to stop you right there, my friend, because that exact overconfidence is what fraudsters feast on. The scams in the second-hand iPhone market have become astonishingly sophisticated, and even seasoned tech nerds fall for them every single day. For example, consider battery health spoofing. Did you know there are specialized hardware tools that allow shady technicians to install a tiny chip called a Tag-on Flex onto an old, dying battery? This little hardware hack tricks iOS into displaying 100% maximum capacity in your settings menu, when in reality, the battery is completely degraded and will die after 2 hours of light use. Or think about the insurance claim trap. You meet a charming seller in a coffee shop. You put your SIM card in, make a test call, check the screen, and everything works like a dream. You hand over the cash, shake hands, and drive home feeling like a genius. 3 days later, your cellular connection suddenly dies forever. Why? Because the seller took your cash, called their carrier, reported the phone lost or stolen, and claimed a brand new replacement through their insurance policy. The carrier immediately added the phone's unique identification code to a global blacklist, turning your expensive new phone into a glorified paperweight. Then there is the clone iPhone scam. Scammers are now manufacturing one-to-one physical replicas of flagship iPhones. They look identical. They have the exact same camera bumps, and they run a highly customized version of Android designed to look perfectly like iOS. If you just glance at the home screen, you will be fooled. And we cannot forget the software locks. Fraudsters use temporary software exploits to hide mobile device management profiles, or bypass iCloud activation screens just long enough to sell you the phone. The moment you take it home, update the software, or perform a factory reset, the phone connects to Apple's security servers, realizes it belongs to a school or a stranger, and locks you out permanently. If that wasn't enough, Apple recently introduced a massive curveball with the iOS 18 Repair Assistant. Apple now officially software locks individual replacement parts, like the screen and battery, to the original owner's Apple ID. Let's say a repair shop fixes a phone using a genuine original Apple screen, but they harvested that screen from a stolen iPhone. When you buy that repaired phone, iOS 18 will detect the stolen part. It will permanently disable True Tone calibration and literally pop up a notification demanding the Apple ID password of the person who owned the stolen donor phone. You thought you bought a genuine repair, but you accidentally bought stolen property, and Apple will punish the phone for it. Because Apple's security is anchored directly to their encrypted cloud servers, there is no secret backdoor, no special software tool, and no magic trick to unlock it. If you get caught in any of these traps, your money is gone for good. So, how do you protect your hard-earned money when navigating this battlefield? How can you walk into a second-hand deal and guarantee you are walking out with a safe, functional, genuine iPhone? You do it by following Sal's non-negotiable inspection protocol. When you meet a seller, do not be rushed. A legitimate seller who actually owns the phone will gladly give you 10 minutes to run these tests. Rule number 1. The mandatory factory reset test. Never, ever buy an iPhone that the seller refuses to wipe in front of you. If they claim they are still using it, or that they forgot their password, walk away immediately. But here is a critical new trap you must watch out for: Apple's stolen device protection. If you meet a seller in a public place like a coffee shop or a parking lot, iOS recognizes this as an unfamiliar location. If the seller tries to turn off Find My or Factory, reset the phone right there. The phone might trigger a mandatory 1-hour security delay. You cannot bypass this timer. If you hand over the cash and take the phone home thinking you will just finish the reset later, the timer will expire, and iOS will demand a second Face ID scan from the original seller. You will be entirely locked out. The seller must successfully complete the factory reset right in front of you, all the way to the initial hello screen, before you open your wallet. Rule number 2. Expose the clones and check the numbers. The fastest way to prove a phone is not a disguised Android clone is to open the App Store. If it opens the Google Play Store or asks for a Google login, run away. If it is genuine, dial *#06# on the keypad to display the phone's unique IMEI number. Run that number through official national registry portals or carrier blacklist checkers to ensure the device has not been reported stolen. Then, go to Settings, General, About, and check Carrier Lock. It must explicitly state no SIM restrictions. Rule number 3. Inspect the physical integrity. Look at the very bottom of the iPhone, right next to the charging port. There are 2 tiny, star-shaped pentalobe screws. If those screws are missing, if they are the wrong color, or if the metal grooves look stripped out like they were chewed on, an amateur or an unauthorized repair shop has opened that phone. Factory-sealed phones have perfectly pristine, flush screws. Next, pop out the SIM card tray and shine a light inside the slot. Look for the liquid contact indicator. If that tiny sticker is solid red or pink instead of white, the phone has suffered severe water damage. Rule number 4. Inspect the internal repair history and diagnostic logs. Go to Settings, General, About. If components have been swapped, this menu will display the parts history. Look for genuine Apple part. If you see unknown part for the screen or battery, or if iOS 18 gives you a warning that a part cannot be verified without a password, the phone has uncertified or stolen hardware in it. To check battery health, go to Settings, Battery, Battery Health. If the phone is 3 years old and shows 100% health with no official repair log, be very suspicious of battery spoofing. To check for a dying motherboard, go to Settings, Privacy and Security, Analytics and Improvements, Analytics Data. Tap the search bar and type the word panic. If you see multiple crash logs titled Panic Full, the phone has severe internal hardware failures and will randomly reboot constantly. Rule number 5. Real-world hardware stress testing. Press and hold an app icon on the home screen until it starts jiggling. Then drag that icon slowly across every single corner and edge of the display. If the icon drops back into place on its own, that exact spot on the screen has a dead touch sensor. Finally, open the Voice Memos app, record yourself talking loudly, and play it back at max volume. This instantly tests both the bottom microphone and the primary loudspeaker for clear, crisp audio. If the phone passes every single one of these checks with flying colors, you can hand over the cash with absolute confidence, knowing you just secured a fantastic, legitimate device. To make this super easy for you, we have created the ultimate printable, used iPhone inspection checklist. I want you to go down to the description right now and download this image, print it out, or save it to your camera roll. The next time you go to meet a seller, Bring this checklist along and check off every box before you even think about handing over your money. It takes all the guesswork out of the process. It forces the seller to be honest, and it ensures you will never get scammed again. Share it with your friends, send it to your family, and let us clean up the secondhand market together. Thank you so much for watching. If this breakdown saved you from a sketchy deal, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, keep your tech smart, keep your money safe, and let Sal keep explaining. Catch you in the next one.